me a little bit about why you came out today. By the way, Warren, member of the New York Revolution Group. Warren, what brought you out here today?
Well, my complaint with the whole thing is that there are no expectations to law-abiding citizens. All right, I drive 55 miles an hour in a 55-mile-an-hour zone, and I am passed by people on solid double yellow lines. There's no expectation of people doing things correctly. So my stance today is I'm more than happy to have all the kids of the world come to the United States, but they should do so correctly.
I agree with you, Warren. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm here with Michael. Michael, why don't you tell us a little bit about why you came out today? By the way, another member of the New York Revolution Group. Awesome group.
Well, somebody's got to come up here and fight for our freedoms and, express their voices.
Now, what concerns do you have about Mayor Minor's invitation to send some kids here?
Well, when I think about it, I think that the good people of Syracuse should have a petition going out to have her arrested. Nobody died and left this woman queen where she could make decisions on behalf of the people of Syracuse, New York, and the people in this county, the people in this state of New York, and the people in this country. She cannot make that sole decision herself to open the doors for people that are illegally invading this country.
And what would you say to the people, because you know they're out there, that say, well, what about these are kids and we need to open our hearts to them and be compassionate?
I'd say you better quit believing the news and believing what the news tells you, because they aren't kids. They have no idea who's coming across the border. They only get half of them. 50% of them are from the ages of 14 to 17. 90% of them are males. That's the ones that we know about. There's no background checks on them. They don't go to see if their name, they can say their name is Humpty Dumpty, and that's what it is. It's Humpty Dumpty. They can say that they're from El Salvador, and that they just leave it at that. These people could be coming from anywhere in this country, or in this world, and they could be, they're lying when they say that they're all children, that they're changing diapers, and all this. The Border Patrol isn't even nowhere near the border. They're 45 miles from the border. How can they protect the border from 45 miles away? They can't.
I'm here with Peter, and Peter has a sign that says "No hate" in our community. And Peter, your sign attracted my attention, and I'm not over here to argue with you, but I did want to ask you a question. How is it hateful that we expect, for those who expect the government to follow rules? You know, we have immigration. If I snuck into Canada, for instance, I would be detained, or if I snuck into Mexico, I'd be detained. So why is it necessarily, that's a sign that implies that everybody who's out here who expects secure borders, that there's hate involved in that. And why would you make the sign up? What was your thought process?
Well, I picked up the sign because what I think is that we need to share all of our humanity. We need to all recognize that all the people we're talking about are human beings.
Exactly, yeah.
And that all human beings deserve human rights. We all deserve safety. We all deserve basic rights as human beings, especially children. I work with children and families. I work with children and families in Syracuse, and I've seen every day the needs of children and families. I think that what we need is a way that all children can be loved, all children can have a home, and all children can have the basic needs that they need. Now, the reason these kids are coming from Honduras and El Salvador is because they're not safe in their home country. And the reason they're not safe in their home country is U.S. policy all the way back into the 80s made their country the murder capital of the world, and they have left in order to be safe. So they deserve some safety, at least temporarily. They may be here only for 30 days. We don't know how long they'll be here, but we want them to be safe while they're here. We don't want them to feel hated while they're here. We don't want them to feel like America is not a welcoming place. We want people to know that America is the place where they said at the Statue of Liberty, give me your fire, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free.
Right, but there was never... we're not talking about a problem with immigration. We're talking about a problem with people who entered the country illegally. If we wanted to have a discussion about changing immigration laws to welcome more people here, that's a totally separate discussion. But welcoming, see, I have 3 kids of my own. and I love my children. I love the children that are coming across the border. I love everybody. That's my job. The problem is we don't know anything about the kids that are coming across the border. If there are lots of reports, whether they are true or not, of rampant disease and MS-13 gang members. Now, if either one, how is it responsible of Stephanie Miner to invite what could possibly be disease-ridden kids? She doesn't know anything about what she invited here, and that's totally irresponsible as a mayor of Syracuse. I don't live in Syracuse, but I live close enough that if you invite in even one kid that has a disease that we are not, don't have any immunity built up for anymore in this country because they haven't seen it in 5 decades, you potentially could cause a catastrophic reaction throughout this community, and I think that that's very irresponsible of Mayor Miner. Also, I think for her to, on her own, unilaterally decide that she has the authority to make this decision on her own, it was pretty irresponsible.
Well, one of the things that I think Mayor Miner is doing is she's trying to follow the laws of the United States where refugees are given asylum. And these kids may, at least a large proportion of them, may be refugees. As to the fear that was in your statement about concern about disease and gangs, those very same concerns were being broadcast about immigrants in the 1800s. That was going on for centuries, and it's something that people naturally, associate with people from outside of the country. It's the fear of the unknown.
Well, I don't think it's a baseless fear. There are Border Patrol and medical staff who have worked with these kids that have made these statements, not just random people like me.
That's the same fear. I mean, they have that same fear as all the rest of us do, and we have to watch and really get to know what the situation is around these kids.